All right, and we're back. Any given Sunday sports special. Jesus, and I got my man Steve. Now we're gonna go ahead and cover the East side of things. Steve, my man, take over.
I'm super excited that we're covering the East, by the way, because there's just so many good personalities in here too, man. So let's start. We're gonna do the same thing like we did last time. We're gonna start with the rookies. Again, we're gonna start with Sean. Sean's team's called Slap Sauce. All right. And with Sean, man, I was actually quite impressed as well. Just as I was with Game, I was impressed with Sean. I really thought he was not gonna do well. I thought that he would probably come in and fall flat on his face, and he didn't. He was in there. He was bidding. He was bidding. He wasn't getting pushed around. He landed guys like Des Bryant, and I pushed him, and I really thought he was gonna not go with to 47, and he went there. So props to him going there. He goes and gets himself a Matt Ryan for $11, which I thought it was great, and Matt Ryan puts up numbers. The only thing that really bites that kind of hurt his team a little bit is the Julian Edelman going down.
Yeah.
So that kind of hurts him a bit, but he got Martellus Bennett for $1. He got guys like Adrian Peterson for 13 that he can trade away to somebody and make a deal. Emmanuel Sanders for 4 was okay. I mean, it's not. I don't want to say that it's the greatest roster because it's not. I mean, I still think there needs to be improvement, and the main guys are really going to be Des Bryant, kind of carrying it, and Marshawn Lynch. We don't know. Like, I know he's having a decent preseason, but when it comes to game time, for a running back not working out, not doing anything last year and coming back, I just don't know what's going to happen. So there is some inherent risk there. But today, as it stands, I have Sean 7, simply because he definitely did a lot better than what I thought he would do. But again, I just think he's in the same spot as kind of Gabe. He's in that same realm where he did good, and I think he has a decent roster. But the Edelman thing definitely hurt him and put him back. And I just don't see where and again, he's going to have to prove me wrong on the GMing and trading skills, because I think he definitely needs to do some trades in order to strengthen that roster, and he's definitely got to work the waiver wire, because I'm only seeing like 2-3 guys that are really carrying this roster, and one of them is a risk, in my opinion.
Gotcha. I mean, that's fair enough. I completely understand where you're coming from. I'm of the mindset. I thought he had a phenomenal draft. I really do. I think when he started out with the draft, I really wasn't liking what he was doing. Early on, I was like, what is he doing? I didn't like it. But overall, all of a sudden, you check, 2-3 rounds later, and now all of a sudden the guy has a really darn good roster.
Yeah, he got some really great value towards the end. Like Emmanuel Sanders for 4, Rawls for 6. Like, he definitely...
Peterson for 13.
Yeah, Peterson for 13. Like, he definitely, on the back half, he did very well. The question is, even though they have extreme value, is that value enough to beat some of these other teams? You know what I mean?
I mean, and that's the one thing you have to ask yourself. I look at the roster. His starting lineup that he's going to roll out there is Drew Brees, Marshawn Lynch, Des Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, Travis Kelce, Emmanuel Sanders, and Adrian Peterson, Seattle defense. I mean, right. And then he can always, if, say, for example, Brees has a rough schedule on the road, he doesn't play as good on the road, he has Matt Ryan he can plug in there. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. As far as tight ends, if something were to happen to Travis Kelce, you have Zach Ertz he could plug in there. If he doesn't want to put in Zach Ertz, he has Martellus Bennett, who's in Green Bay now, he could plug in there. He has some darn good options there that he could go ahead and do. The one thing I wish wouldn't have happened is that Edelman injury, because that kind of hurts his depth a little bit. I do think that he ultimately needs to trade one of his 3 tight ends to get depth at wide receiver, especially now because of that injury. So, once he go ahead and he does that, I think he'll be, in a specific position where he'll be even better. But overall, myself, I know you guys are gonna say, "Wow, that's nuts." But I'm taking into account the division that he's in, the schedule that he has.
Yeah.
I actually have Sean at number 3.
Okay. Wow, you have Sean at number 3.
Number 3, I have him. I think Drew Brees is gonna. I think.
Sean at 7.
I think. I think Drew Brees is gonna throw for a ton of touchdowns. I think Marshawn Lynch is gonna have himself 8 touchdowns, even if he doesn't have a lot of yards. He'll still have 8 touchdowns. Des Bryant, you know, at some point in time, the guy has to stay healthy. You would think. If it doesn't happen this year, I'm completely off of the Des Bryant bandwagon. And then Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. He, at the end of the day, the guy was the second best tight end. I mean, so he's not a scrub himself. And then Demaryius Thomas, you love Demaryius Thomas yourself, Steve. So, you know, I mean, no, yeah,
he's
absolutely.
reliable. But here's the thing. I do like Demaryius Thomas, but Demaryius Thomas, look at his numbers. I mean, I traded him away in Dynasty. I saw the road coming. Demaryius Thomas, to me, is a greater risk than what people think, because look over the past 3 seasons, his numbers have actually come in less and less. He is trending downwards.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see Demaryius Thomas coming back up. That's why I'm looking at this roster and I'm saying, because, you know, I would have been like, okay, well, Julian Edelman would have been great because, you know, you're going to have Brandon Cooks kind of taking a lot of attention away, and Edelman's going to be even more open, and it's going to open the field up for him. But he got hurt. So after Des Bryant, I mean, I'm not a fan of Demaryius Thomas. Emmanuel Sanders, like, you know, he's on the same team, so you're not going to start the 2 same members or whatever, you know. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just difficult for me to say, like, this is a – Corey Davis is the question mark. Corey Davis, if he could blow up like I think he can, and I think Corey Davis is a phenomenal talent, and I hope he does well for the Tennessee Titans. I think if he blows up this year, then I would agree with you. Then he has the potential. Yeah. But I don't know if Corey Davis can do that with Marcus Mariota.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you know, we both value Marcus Mariota a little bit different than you and I. But you know, we'll see. It's gonna be fun. I tell you this right now. But yes, I know I have him very high compared to what most people think. But I'm sticking to it. I think he will be the 3rd best team in the league as far as his record.
All right, we have Anthony on the phone, and I know Anthony wants to say something about Sean's team, because, you know, these two have kind of developed a little bit of a little rivalry here, and no games have been played. So, Anthony, your thoughts on Sean?
Sean team trash.
Oh!
I don't care. His team trash.
Oh! That's what I'm talking about. Can we be more specific? I'll read to you his roster, Anthony, because you probably don't have it in front of you. I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read it to you real quick. He got Brees, Lynch, Bryant, Demaryius Thomas, Travis Kelce, Emmanuel Sanders, Adrian Peterson, Seattle defense, Steven Gostkowski, Corey Davis, Matt Ryan, Thomas Rawls, Zach Ertz, Martellus Bennett, James White, Mike Wallace, and then Julian Edelman is out for the year.
Oh, okay. The team's still trash. I don't care. Look, man. Look, he got 3 tight ends. What you gonna do with 3 tight ends? You can only play one, and only one worthwhile playing is Kelce. He stole Corey Davis from me. He wanted to be cute every time I make a pick. Adorable. It's adorable. His team's still trash. I just saw Matt Ryan yesterday. He looked terrible yesterday, and that's what all the starters out there. It wasn't like, you know, it was a dress rehearsal. All the starters was there. Matt Ryan looked trash yesterday. You're hoping Drew Brees steps it up, but you don't know what's going to happen. You got an old-ass AP, man. This team's garbage.
Oh!
I don't care.
Oh.
Go on. Got right here. You free smoke, come get it. Free smoke.
Oh my goodness! Don't they play each other week 1? I'm pretty sure they do.
I know.
No, they don't. Oh, they don't. I wish, but they do play each other twice this year. They do play each other twice.
Oh, it's coming. I ain't got no problem with that. Hey, free smoke.
Oh man, this is good. I know people were looking for me and Dennis to do this type of trash talking, but this is on another level. Oh man!
Before Sean touched his team, he like, who finished second? You didn't even put your squad together yet. The squad you put together is trash. You got Edelman's hurt. You got three tight ends. I don't know what you're gonna do with any of them. You're only gonna start one. Like I said, you can count on Brees. You can maybe do Marshawn. We're going to see. You got Emmanuel Sanders with that bum quarterback they got in Denver. All right, man, cool. That's your squad, ain't mine.
Dang.
Whew. Tell us how you really feel.
All right.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Pito, basura, basura.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead, Steve. You got to keep us on the rails because this is crazy.
Yeah. Let's go to the next team. All right. So the next team we
Yeah,
got.
let's just go past this trash squad, man. Next team.
All right. Next team we have coming up, man, is the Dream Killers. Dream Killers are run by Lewis. You know, gentlemen, I'll kick it off to you, Jesus. What do you think about Lewis's team?
I mean, look, Lewis is my guy, so I don't like ripping him, but I don't understand his draft every year. He always seems to target the exact same guys every single year, but he hasn't made the playoffs. Has he made the playoffs in AGS? He might have, maybe one year. I'm not sure, but it's not working. But he consistently brings back the Le'Veon. I'm sorry, well, Le'Veon hasn't come back, but the Russell Wilsons, the Golden Tates, the Allen Robinsons of the world, the C.J. Andersons of the world, Delaney Walkers of the world.
Delaney Walker.
Yeah, he's always bringing back the exact same guys. But he didn't land Delaney this year. He actually missed out on Delaney.
No, he tried. He
tried to get Delaney though. And it's just bothering me because I want to see him mix it up. If he actually mixes it up, he will be pretty darn good. I truly do believe it. But he just doesn't mix it up. And I just look at his team of his big three of what? Le'Veon Bell, let's say, Russell Wilson, and you want to put Allen Robinson or Greg Olsen. I don't think that's a team that's going to compete for a chip. I really don't. So yeah. I think just overall, I think he needs to make moves. And it's not going to be easy because he's going to have to do a lot of 2-for-1s to even be able to have a shot because nobody's going to give you much for Golden Tate straight up. Nobody's going to give you much for Allen Robinson straight up.
Yeah, I agree, man. With Lewis, and I have Lewis, this is where I kind of debated on whether he was either 9th or 10th, and ultimately I ended up putting him 9. And with Lewis, man, I agree. He gets like these same type of guys. The difference with this year is I think a lot of the original guys he was going for, because if I remember correctly, in the draft, he was targeting literally the same names from last year, and he missed on some.
Yeah.
So, in retrospect, he added some different ones. Dante Moncrief was one that he overbid me on, and I think that was a good landing for him. And I guess what I'm trying to say is he has a lot of potential to maybe things could change around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jarvis Landry, he has a lot of potential. He needs to just put a campaign together and he'll be good. I love Allen Robinson. I know a lot of people don't like him. Allen Robinson is talented. The problem is his quarterback. And who's going to be his quarterback this year? Does Allen Robinson have the capability of putting, top 15 fantasy season together? Yes. Can it be done this year? I don't know. You know what I mean? So he has to hit on that too. Golden Tate, same thing. He has Golden Tate is just like one of those 20, 25, 30 type of guys that comes in every season, but he needs to elevate himself. And again, it's asking Golden Tate to do a lot more than what he's really capable of. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he's got a lot of these guys on this roster that they need to just put a campaign together and make him a winner. I think Deshaun Jackson, he had him last year for $1, I think, if I remember correctly. Brings him back for $4. I think that one could do something as well, but again, it's all potential, guys, and that's the problem that I have with Lewis's team is none of them are those guys where you're like, yes, this guy is going to just completely own it and take this team to the next level. Everything you look at here is like, well, he could, but last year he didn't. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
And that's the problem that I have with Lewis's team. And that's why I have it 9th is the roster. I don't ever see Lewis really make that many moves throughout the year because I personally think he asked for too much. And when you combine all of that in his drafting, and he hasn't, he's just like Dom. He's only been in the playoffs once since he's been in this league. Like, it's just hard to make him higher, and I don't think that's going to change.
All right, Anthony, what you got?
It's a team full of ifs, and that's the problem. Like, if the Jaguars, who are terrible at starter and at backup, if they say sign Colin Kaepernick, then Allen Robinson becomes a real threat, which he is. if Le'Veon Bell comes in the camp in shape, which he probably will, but you got to see how it goes. And like, if Golden Tate, remains the number one weapon in Detroit, they were talking about this Galladay kid or whatever it is. Like, it's too near. You need some certainties. Like, and Le'Veon Bell is an absolute certainty. He's the top 3 player overall in fantasy. He's terrific at what he does. Like, it's about his contract and about his money. You want to see how that goes. I think it'll work itself out fine, but outside of him, if you're playing spades, he's a big joker. Then you got a bunch of low spades and just trying to see what happens. Like, how am I going to play this hand? Let's see how it works. But I could see if it was like a one-time thing. It's always a continuing nature of how his teams are put together. It's like, I know the guy, I like the guy, he's on my team, I'm going to put him here. And like I said, sometimes you got to roll the dice, you're going to take some risks. I think 2-for-1 trades are probably the best possibility. Like, you got to give me something and a little more just to get some more talent on your team.
Yeah.
But I think what we learn in fantasy more than anything else is that, once you pick your team, you put them out in the field. Nothing else really matters. Like, I'm pretty certain that Sean didn't expect Edelman to blow out his ACL. I know a bunch of people didn't expect the injuries that came along and that are coming along right now. When you pick your team, like, it sounds good, but after that point, it's all just left up to chance. You put the best roster out there. His thing is that he always has a piece, but doesn't really put, his best foot forward. Like before, he had Wilson, and Wilson was struggling. We kept telling him, you need a quarterback, need a quarterback, need a quarterback. He finally picks up Dak. Then he starts winning. But if you had him earlier, maybe things would have changed. I guess he has to learn to be a little bit more aggressive and take chances when they're there, because trying to run with the status quo is just going to keep leaving the basement over and over again. Like I said, I like the way he does it. Like, he sticks with his guns, but sometimes, you got to try something a little different.
Fair enough. Steve, where we going next?
All right, guys. So next team we're going to go with the third place team. You guys know him very well. All effing losers, a.k.a. Pops. And I'll start with you, Jesus. Pops' team. How do you feel about it as far as what he brought and how he did?
I mean, and Pops, this is all love. I don't want you to think there's any kind of hate here, but I didn't like your draft. If I'm just being brutally honest and fair, I did not like your draft. Because, first of all, you knew that you probably aren't going to have Zeke. Even if the suspension gets brought down, let's just say, even if it's cut in half, you're still not going to have him for what? 3 weeks? Let's just say, which I doubt it's going to be cut in half, but let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that somehow they get it cut in half. He's still going to miss 3 games. LeSean McCoy, I don't like LeSean McCoy. I'm going to be very, very confident in saying this. LeSean McCoy, I don't even think is going to finish as a top 10 back this year in fantasy. Because of the simple fact that offense is atrocious out there in Buffalo right now. And what a defense is going to do, they know where the ball's going every single time. And we've all seen whenever it's all about LeSean McCoy and they have no other help for him, he doesn't finish the season. He just doesn't do it. He gets hurt every time. So I don't trust him. Kareem Hunt, that one, props to Pops that I hate to say it because you don't want to ever hear somebody celebrate over an injury, but the injury to Spencer Ware is going to give Pops, Kareem Hunt for a couple of weeks at least. It's not an ACL, so he's not out for the season. But still, I think it's going to be a significant amount of time.
Pops, though. It's a trade for Pops because he loses Meredith.
Yeah, I was getting to that one next. Yeah, that was going to be my next one. So, then I look at a Cameron Meredith who, before Pops even started picking up people or anything like that, that was his number 2 receiver. Yeah. That was Pops' number 2 receiver, which is, I'm sorry, but that's horrible. That's a horrible number 2 receiver to have. So, now, all of a sudden, I'm watching the game today, and then this guy tears his ACL, per reports. So, now he loses Meredith for the season. So, his receiving core is literally Doug Baldwin and Stephon Diggs. That's who he has. Doug Baldwin and Stephon Diggs. That's not good, guys. I'm sorry, but that's not good. And then, just to show how bad that, of a draft he probably himself feels he have, these are the moves that he's made since immediately after the draft, okay? Dropped Eli Manning, picked up Wendell Smallwood. Dropped Jamal Charles, picked up Zay Jones. Dropped Wendell Smallwood, picked up Sam Bradford. Dropped Mike Wallace, added Jeremy Maclin. Dropped Jordan Matthews, added Danny Amendola. dropped Cooper Kupp, added Charkandrick West. Dropped Kendrick West, picked up John Brown. Dropped Zay Jones, picked up Jamal Charles. He's done already like 3 weeks worth of moves. And we haven't even played a single game yet. So that should tell everybody how he really feels about his team.
I'm lost. I'm lost. You lost me at Charkandrick West. I'm lost.
That's because that's how many moves he's done, and you can't even keep track. Go ahead, Steve. You're up.
I am very, very, very worried about Pops. And prior to Cameron Meredith going down, I had Pops 6. And I don't think he's going to be staying there for long because I agree with you. I mean, he's got nobody in wide receivers, and he went so heavy with running backs and Doug Baldwin for 36. Like I've never liked Doug Baldwin. I mean, I know he puts up fantasy numbers, but they're just so sporadic, and basically he has him as his number one.
Yep.
And then to your point, Jesus, I mean, LaShawn McCoy, I don't think LaShawn McCoy is going to do that bad, but still the fact remains is you don't have Ezekiel Elliott with that until at least week 4.
Yep.
So you're going 3 weeks with just LaShawn McCoy, Doug Baldwin, all right, yeah, Kareem Hunt, all right, you got saved there, but who are you rolling out there for wide receiver? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just... I'm very concerned. This may be, and I hate to say this, but this may be one of the worst seasons we see from Pops in a very, very.
He's gonna have to work that waiver wire, and he's the best at it. He is the best at the waiver wire.
He is.
But he's gonna have to be the best this year.
He's gonna have to find lightning in a bottle like crazy because as it currently stands, I definitely would put Sean over him based on this roster. I could even say I have justification to put Lewis over him.
You do.
Because I'm worried for him. But his saving grace, like I said, I grade on 4 different things. Team management and GMing is one of them. And I mean team management as far as working the waiver wire. I think he'll find somebody, but I honestly think it's just not enough.
Yep. I agree. Anthony, you're up.
Man's in trouble. I don't know how you can talk your way out of this one. You make a whole bunch of moves. The only guy worth keeping right now is John Brown. Because I think John Brown should have been drafted. I think if he's healthy, he's still the same.
Well, he was drafted and Dennis dropped him.
Just below elite. Yeah. Shouldn't have did that. Now, you talk about Doug Martin. Okay, cool. He can't be a number 1 back until week 4 because he's suspended for the first 3 games. Ezekiel Elliott's out until week 8. So you basically got LaShawn McCoy, you have Meredith, and he's hurt. He's going to be out for the season. And I mean, I know we're sitting here and we're talking up Kareem Hunt like, okay, he's going to come in and he's going to get the touches and the opportunities. But I mean, I haven't seen him perform. I haven't seen like I've seen the flashes from McCaffrey. I've seen the flashes from Fournette. I've seen the flashes from Kamara. I haven't seen the flashes from Hunt. Like, yeah, we can give this guy the ball 30 times a game. That's why they signed C.J. Spiller. That's why they still have Charkandrick West. It's not a guarantee. Like, he's going to be the bell cow all of a sudden. They're going to figure out something, and it might possibly be, a running back by committee because the talent's there, so he's going to kind of move it around. So I don't necessarily feel as great as I should about that, but I just don't. I think that if some miracle happens that he's still in contention by week 8 and he gets Ezekiel Elliott back, I think that would be a good thing. But then, like I said, you've only really got, 6-week window?
Yep.
Because week 14 to 17, the playoffs start. So you're hoping that he can do enough for you in that period of time to Elliott. I'm a firm believer that if you want your guys, you keep your guys. If you love your guys, you have them there. So if he didn't want to let go of Elliott, they have more cap and everything else like that. And I thought it was a brilliant move to throw out Kareem Hunt at the beginning because no one was going to think that Kareem Hunt would be the first guy thrown out in an auction draft. But he was. And he has him. And unfortunately, there was an injury that allowed him to slide into this place. And we're going to see how that works out. But more than anything else, even if you have that, even if he turns to be a decent, he's a decent running back. You're making all these other moves to try to fix and rejigger your roster and everything else like that. Like I said, you're depending on Martin, and he's not going to be there until week 4. You're not going to have Elliott until week 8. That's
Martin.
Right. He doesn't have Martin?
No, he does not.
Even worse than that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's even worse. It's even worse. He doesn't have Martin.
It's work. Okay, Pops, you're in trouble, son. I was trying to shoot you some bail in this one. I thought you had a guy maybe you could plug in later, but
No, his guy is LeGarrette.
You got him, man.
Yeah, it's bad. I just don't know how he's gonna recover from this.
Yeah, I mean, I unless Pops is willing to go ahead and make a trade, I don't see how he does. And because Pops isn't the type to make a trade that's works out for both sides. So like for example, where he would trade a LeSean McCoy to get two solid players back, Pops wouldn't do that. Pops trading LeSean McCoy, he's gonna want AJ Green and something else back, something like that. So that's why I don't see how he's gonna get himself out of this hole. Real quick before we go to the next team, there is some breaking news that we have happening here. It's now official. The Cleveland Browns have announced DeShone Kizer will be their Week 1 starter at Steelers.
Wow.
So no Cody Kessler, no Brock Osweiler. It will be DeShone Kizer, Notre Dame quarterback.
Wow.
Are they trying to get that killed?
What happened?
Good for him.
His first game is going to be against the Steelers. Do they want him to die?
We shall see.
Corey Coleman's value just went up.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Absolutely. All right, so what's the next team we got coming up?
All right, next team to the playoffs got beat by defending champ. So we're going to go with the New York Powers, man. We're going to go with your team.
Oh, okay.
And, you know what? I'll kick it off for this one.
Okay.
Look, I'll be very, very honest. The fact that you went $70 for Michael Thomas was absurd to me.
Yep.
But in true Jesus fashion, you played it cool and calm. Nobody knew that you were panicking on the inside, because I would have been panicking if I were you. Because I entered Michael Thomas for $70 and I was like, does this guy know what he just did? And in true fashion, you made a trade for Ty Montgomery. And I honestly think that move alone saved your draft. Because with that, you ended up getting Paul Perkins. You ended up getting Kelvin Benjamin. You ended up getting
Frank Gore.
Christian McCaffrey. No, you had McCaffrey.
No, but Frank Gore. Frank Gore.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. So I am impressed that you did that. I think you got an A in the draft because of just that one singular move. That one singular move saved you, and then you are back in it, and you grabbed all these guys for value. I loved the Corey Coleman pickup. I love how you traded for Hunter Henry, which I thought was a smart move by you. Kelvin Benjamin, I think, is going to have a good year. And then you have your core guys that are going to do well. Melvin Gordon, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, and then Tom Brady that you made a trade prior to the season. That's your core guys. It's an A roster. It's a playoff roster. You're going to be there. I just did not understand why you went 70 for Michael Thomas.
Yep.
That's the only thing where I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, Jordy Nelson didn't even go that high.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, Steve, I have, I'm sorry to cut you off. Did you have more you wanted to add to it?
I'm done. That's it.
All right. So Steve, you're absolutely right, bro. I mean, there was no excuse for that. What I ended up doing, which was horrible, is usually whenever we have a draft, because as everybody knows, I run the draft. So I have usually Steve right beside me. Steve is doing his part where he's looking up, he's filling out a sheet, and then he's also crossing out names. I'm putting in the information in the computer. So I was on the wrong team's cap situation when I bid on Michael Thomas. After I realized I got him for 70 and I went to plug in the number, I noticed it wasn't my team. I scrolled up and then I put it in my team and I realized I had $5 max bid for the rest of the draft. Yeah. So there's no other way to put it other than to say, Steve, yes, I was panicked. I may have not shown it. I don't know what my poker face was at that moment. I really wasn't looking because
you had a hell of a poker face.
But it was panic for the New York Powers at that moment in time, because it was a complete miscalculation on my part. And that's why next year you need to be with me when I'm drafting, because I don't have to. I can make sure what I'm doing for my part, but then I have you right there doing the other part of it, of the stuff that needs to be done. So it was horrible for me. And like you said, in true Jesus fashion, I went ahead and I made my contacts. I contacted Anthony. I contacted Rich because those are the two teams I knew were interested in Mike Thomas. And I think I made out pretty well. I mean, I ended up getting Ty Montgomery and $43. And because of that, I ended up with Paul Perkins. I got Paul Perkins. I got Kelvin Benjamin. I got Frank Gore. I got Pierre Garçon. I got the Giants defense. I got Corey Coleman. None of that happens if I don't do that trade. So yeah, I do think that I actually, went ahead and I saved not just my draft, but I saved my season with that trade. Go ahead, Anthony.
You sure did. You did. You were dead in the water. You don't make a deal, it's over for you. After that, it's dollar players the rest of the way. You had like 11, still like a buck. Like, well, what do I do here?
And I believe that
but
was
here's the
thrown out like pick 20 or pick 20.
No, yeah, it was the second round. It was the second round.
Yeah, it was early.
Yeah, it wasn't early. That's the crazy part. It was not early. I could see if it was like pick 8. It wasn't.
No, it was the second
and somehow,
round.
He was still worth $70. Like,
yeah.
we discussed it before the draft even started. We said that the running back depth is troublesome and that it was, kind of sort of gross.
Mm-hmm.
But we still cherish these wide receivers.
Yep.
Because they went for way more than what was expected. Like I said, when you're getting like I didn't in my mind fathom the rookie running backs going between 20 to 30 some odd bucks for each of them. I did not see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either when I paid 37
for
for McCaffrey. I wasn't happy about that either, but I had to do it. But I wasn't happy about it.
Right. You're thinking that rookies, like, okay, like weird things happen. We know that running back depth is weak. But then Odell comes out at 90 plus. Thomas comes out at 70. Jordy comes out high. And you realize, and then Dez comes out high. Like, there's only so many of these guys. But even guys later in the draft were going for like 20, 30 bucks. Like, it was insane. So it was almost a point of necessity. Especially when you have the weapons that you have. It is of absolute necessity that you get the value for what you can. And the value for Michael Thomas was worth more than anything else that you could have done in the draft. Here's the thing. As much as I like Michael Thomas, I do think that you getting Kelvin Benjamin gets you, from what I've seen in the preseason so far, you've earned that value plus more. Because I know we were talking earlier in the season, when Kelvin Benjamin came in that camp looking like a backup tight end.
Yep.
But the guy's 6'5", 240 pounds. If you get it up to him, he gets it. He's been doing that all preseason. And this is with a backup, not with Cam. Just whoever's back there. He's out there getting the job done. You got him for way less of pricing for Michael Thomas. And you got Perkins. And you got Gore. And you got your defense. So I have to applaud you for once you got your finances in order, you didn't go splurge on another piece. Like, I need to spend this wisely. You stretch it out across your team. A lot of gaps, a lot of holes of things that were needed and necessary. Like I said, you have Gronk, you have Brown, you have Gordon, you have Brady, Benjamin, McCaffrey. Somehow you dug yourself out of the hole. You made yourself a terrific roster. Just add a lot more depth to it. And I have to tip my cap to you because what you pulled off was really impressive. Because if not, this conversation would have gone a completely different way.
Yeah, I got you at I got him at 1. I mean, I put you at 1, Jesus, because that honestly, if it weren't for that move, you'd probably fall a couple of spots. I think you'd still be top 4 if you would have kept Michael Thomas, because Michael Thomas and also having Brown, I mean, that's a hell of a combination. But you would literally have no depth.
Yeah, it would have been no depth.
Be running on your core guys. So, but you have the depth. You have Kelvin Benjamin, who I don't think is that much of a drop-off for your number 2 wide receiver. So I think you're in a good spot, my man. You did good.
Thank you. All right, what's next?
All right, it's the champ, defending champ, 2-time champ, Anthony. Let's kick it off to you, Ant. How do you feel you did?
My plan. I was thinking maybe Nelson and maybe one of the rookie running backs or something else like that. But once I saw the prices go up, I said, okay, I can't function this way. So I need to find a way to be as efficient as possible. Because, like I said, a lot of players went by and went past, and once started calculating up the funds, like this guy has this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy, and I had okay, here's your money and David Johnson, and I was okay with that. I really was because I knew that there was some talent that I knew I can get available later. I thought that was going to go cheaper, but if the target's on my back, I'm okay with that. People tended to be a little bit more aggressive towards me than I expected. And like I said, getting Devontae Parker was a big thing for me. I wanted him one way or the other because I think that he's finally finding his way in his offense. I think that might be one of the reasons why they're trying to move Jarvis Landry, because they're trying to make Devontae Parker the centerpiece of the offense.
Agreed.
Still, yep, still got Johnson. I worked out a trade to get Jameis Winston back on my team, and got Eric Decker as a quality number 2. What I wanted to try to do more than anything else, if I couldn't get stars, I had to make sure I got promising and quality depth. I'm very good at wide receiver and running back. Like I said, I'm hoping that some of these things, these guys become healthy and they turn it around. I'm hoping that Sammy Watkins can somehow vibe with Jared Goff. I'm hoping that Keenan Allen turns back to what he was. I mean, he's played well and he looks like himself, but, once you suffer severe injuries like that, you never know what's going to happen. But more than anything else, I'm trying to maybe lean my team on Jameis Winston. I'm going to hope and assume that he's ready this year and he's the guy that's going to take me to the promised land, and having him and DJ is very, very important to me because apparently in Arizona they're going to feed him the ball a lot. As long as he stays upright, we're going to see how that works out. And more than anything else, I need one of these scratch-off wide receivers to hit. I need Allen to show up, or I need Watkins to show up. The guys that are there, they're talented, but they're in very weird situations. Just hoping that, they find a way that it turns itself around and it works itself out. So therefore, we can make this a three-peat. It's going to be difficult. I think I got a chance to be in the running. Like I said, there's a lot of stars in all other places, but I try to build as solid a team as possible. So if anything goes down, I have, next man up. Or if I need to swing a trade for a better piece, I got enough talent there to work things out, just like we already did with the Jameis Winston trade. So it's going to be tough, but I'm aiming for the three-peat this year. But I don't like talking about myself. I'm a humble guy. You can talk about me all you want. Yeah.
All right, I'll be honest with you, man. I think this year you are coming in with the most risk I've ever seen your team have in the previous 2 years. But the risks that you're taking are absolutely right. You nailed it on the head, like a Keenan Allen. A Keenan Allen is very capable of a top 15 talent in wide receiver. Can he do it? Can he stay healthy? That's the question mark. So there's one risk. Then you look at Sammy Watkins. I'm actually glad Sammy Watkins left Buffalo. And it's only going to help Gurley out, to be quite honest. But there's some risk there because we don't know if Jared Goff is really going to be that guy. We're hoping that second year that he does. So maybe Sammy Watkins can be top 20, but we still have to see it out.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins had a slump last year. This year I think he could return to form. Now that what's his name's gone, and I don't even want to say his name because he was that bad. But I
need to mention him.
Better. So you're right on the wide receiver assessment. Where your money's at is, and what's going to carry you deep, is DJ. And the fact that I love what you said with Devontae Parker. I absolutely agree with you, and I think he's probably going to be one of your starters week in and week out. And then after DJ, I actually, a lot of people don't talk about him. They don't speak about him a lot. But Crowell is a nice pickup for $24 considering what he did last year. And if you look at the offense and how he's been doing, he's one of those sneaky guys that can actually get you points. And then Jameis Winston, as long as he doesn't make those bad mistakes, the concern that I've had with the Bucs is they haven't been able to punch it in through the air. So that's my only concern throughout the preseason. Hopefully that's a different story when it comes into regular season. But they've been hitting a lot of field goals over the past preseason. That's my only worry with Jameis. But you also I'm pretty sure you'll find or you have another quarterback in mind that you might pick up later down the road. And I agree with you. You have to make some trades down the road right now to make yourself a considerable team. But today I have you ranked 3 because I think you're going to get a deal done down the road that gets you in there. So, but right now, your division, in my opinion, is going through these teams is one of the weaker ones. I mean, you have Jesus, who's going to be a problem. But after that, I mean, Pops is not to his true form. I think you could still compete with Sean, despite what, Jesus thinks.
I never said he can't compete. I didn't say that. Hey, don't try to make me the bad guy here. I never said he can't compete with Sean.
Then, I think you have a better roster than Sean, and I think a better roster than Lewis. So even with that, I still think you're in the wild card discussion for that division.
Okay.
Jesus, your thoughts?
All right. So I'm gonna be honest, Anthony. You my man's and all, but you struggled a little bit. And what drives me crazy sometimes about you when you're drafting, Anthony, is you don't pull the trigger sometimes. You have a number that's set, and I respect the fact that if that number's passed, that's it. You will go to the next guy, and I respect that completely. But what drives me crazy about you is once there's nobody left on the board, don't let that other guy go. Just don't let him go. If there's nobody else left on the board, then all of a sudden that maybe that $20 that you had on your guy needs to go up to 25 or 30, whatever that number is, because that's the one part that I think that's the one missing piece. You are hands down, Anthony, one of the best at recognizing talents in this league. Now, I don't think anybody would debate that. You know talent, You know football. You're hands down one of the best people to negotiate with. You're fair. There's never any issues. I have no problem with that. The one thing that just drives me crazy about you is when you draft, it's kind of like you don't have a full-on game plan other than the one going in. You don't audible all of it. Like, for example, what happened with me. I had a game plan. I knew I made a mistake. I had to audible out of it. Steve had a game plan. All of a sudden, he started realizing he got a Jai for cheap. He said, okay, well, wait a minute. I could go ahead and I could get now a Jordy. I could go out and I could get a Terrell Pryor. And you kind of audible as the draft goes on. That's the one thing, Anthony, that I felt that you lacked in this draft. Had you have done that, I honestly think you could have ended this draft. I'm not even exaggerating, but you could have ended this draft with a player better than an Isaiah Crowell. If you take Crowell out of there, you could have easily had yourself, and I'm not saying that this is who you wanted, but a Jay Ajayi, a Leonard Fournette, a Christian McCaffrey. But you didn't make that change. You didn't make that audible once you started seeing the numbers the way they were coming out. But overall, if I'm just looking at the talent of your roster, I think that you're going to make that trade, that 2-for-1 trade that's going to get you another stud on your team. So I actually think that you're going to be in the fringe playoffs. So you're going to be between 4 to 5. If I have to pick right now because you don't have a trade done, I have you at 5. But I do think you will get the trade done, which will then jump you between 4 to 3. And that's it. That's what I got from my man Anthony. I like Hopkins. I like Allen. I mean, I don't know. Anybody watched the game yesterday? Phillip Rivers was going to Allen quite a bit. So, they haven't missed a step, those two.
Yeah, and Allen, I mean, look, Allen was top 5 before he got hurt. People don't realize that. In a standard format. Like, he was lighting up numbers. So, again, and this is where, we kind of said this about another team where there's a lot of risk. But... there's a lot of upside to his roster, and I see what you're saying as far as the strategy, Jesus. I mean, I thought Isaiah Crowell, because nobody likes Cleveland players, I thought he was a good pickup because...
Oh, it's a good play. It is a good pickup. No. Yeah, and you're right, Steve, on that one. It's a good pickup. What I'm saying is he paid 24 for Crowell, right? He paid 24 for Crowell.
Why not go the extra 10...
Yeah, exactly. So why not spend a couple extra dollars and then go get yourself a $30 to $40 guy? You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say. Right.
I get it. And my rationale behind Crowell more than anything else, it came down to trust.
He's going to get the touches.
Your quarterback.
That's true.
But let me rewind that. When your head coach starts the season off by saying, I should have given him the ball more, and now you're going to start a rookie quarterback Behind the offensive line, it's pretty good. You're going to want to feed that guy as much as you can.
True.
Period. He said it from the very beginning. Hugh Jackson kept saying all offseason, if I have one regret, I should have gave the ball to Isaiah Crowell more.
Yep.
Now you got the opportunity because you can't, as much as you might like Heiser, you can't trust the guy. You got to keep feeding your back there. Maybe some of the touches go to Duke Johnson, sure. Now, I still believe that Cleveland has a better offensive line than Jacksonville has.
Yep.
Than most teams have. And blocking matters. That's why people were kind of into having Darren McFadden, even if it's just for 6 games, because he's running behind that offensive line. They'll give him something. Cleveland's not really that far behind. And Crowell's a superior back than McFadden was. And I know he can get at least 300-plus touches. Now, I understand the whole risk assessment and everything else, because you always got to kind of think it through. There was really no guy I was really in love with outside of Winston, because I didn't want to let him go, so I want to try to find a way to get him back. I had Johnson, so I'm saying, in my mind, if all the other pieces hit, and I know I can probably get 25 points a game from this guy alone, from his rushing and receiving, I should be okay. But just saying that, I'm seeing what you're saying about taking a risk. Because if I know I'm getting that from this guy, I should take more risk to get another big piece because I know I'm guaranteed that.
Yeah, because you're a damn good evaluator of talent. Probably the best evaluator overall of talent. Like I can evaluate receivers. Steve can evaluate receivers as well. Dennis evaluates running backs. Everybody has their... But you are just all around. It doesn't matter what the position is. You find value in it. And you proved that last year with the running backs that you had, the tight end that you had. You just know how to do it. So that's all. But I know we're running short on time. So that's all I got.
All right. So do you want to recap real quick from 10th to 1st?
Yep.
All right. So number 10, we all agree that we have Dom.
Yeah.
Yes.
At 9, we have Lewis.
Yep.
Yes.
So I think this is where we kind of debate. I had Gabe at 8.
I had Gabe at 7.
Okay.
And Anthony?
He's at 8 for me.
You have him at 8? Okay. So
I got him at 8.
All right. So Gabe is 8. Okay. 7.
All right. At 7, I have Sean.
I have Pops. If I couldn't, because I have Pops 8, but if I can't do that, then I would have Pops at 8. And I think Steve, if I'm not mistaken, you said
Gabe at 8.
Steve, if I'm not mistaken, I think that you said yourself that Sean's team is better than Pops.
It is now, yeah. No, actually, with the injury now, absolutely. So I'll agree with you guys. We'll put Pops there.
Okay.
And then Sean for me would move up to 6.
I have Sean at 3.
It's still low for you.
Yeah, I have Sean at 3. So then, Anthony, what do you have? With the teams left are the Powers. You have Tampa. You have Sean. You have Dennis. You have yourself. You have Rich.
You know what? I'll give Sean that spot for now. I don't want to rank him at all.
Wow.
He's trash to me, but I'll give him 7 for now.
Well, he's at 6. That puts him at 6, but okay. All right.
I got to rank him even higher? Okay. Oh, God. Okay.
All right. So then...
All right. 5, I have Rich.
I would go with that.
Same here.
I'm good with that one. Yep, Rich.
4, I have Dennis.
So that's between Dennis,
I'll agree.
Anthony. I would actually have Dennis at 4. I would actually have Anthony at 4. I actually like Dennis's team a little bit better than his. So, Anthony, you're the tiebreaker. Obviously, you're going to say your team is better than Dennis, right?
Yeah, my team's better than Dennis.
All right, so Dennis is 4. So then 3,
Yep.
I have Anthony then.
I have Anthony at 3.
I think we all agree. All right, so then it's between, at 2, it's going to be between me and Steve. Who's 2?
So I picked myself 2.
I agree.
Powers 2, Tampa 1.
Yep.
Well, 2-1, so then it'll be Steve, so that you're 2, and then I'll be 1. And I have the bullseye on me, as always. Okay. All right.
Sir,
so that's our rankings. Once again, 10 is Dom, 9 is Lewis, 8 is Gabe, 7 is Pop, 6 is Sean, 5 is Rich, 4 is Dennis, 3 is Anthony, 2 is Steve, and then Powers are number 1. That will do it.
I like it.
Guys, we will do a show next week for our picks for week 1. Have a great week. Hopefully no other players get injured. We still have one more preseason game left to go. So we shall see. Best of luck. Everybody stay safe, be safe. We are out. Peace.
Peace.